Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. City Council deliberated on the budget today, the final day scheduled to go over next year's finances. After long discussion, the police service budget was passed at $22.1 million, about $160,000 short of the recommendation, but about $700,000 more than last year. Some changes are coming to downtown parking. The city says it will introduce a paid parking app, but coin parking is still an option. The city says the app will remove the 2-hour minimum, allowing users to pay for full-day parking. The city will raise the hourly parking rate from $1.25 to $1.50, and the municipal impound fee will increase from $50 to $100. Saskatchewan's lone Liberal member of Parliament says a national school food program across the province will be permanent. Buckley Boulanger was at Caroline Robbins School this morning to celebrate nearly $16 million of funding going to Saskatchewan schools over 3 years to keep kids fed and in the classroom. With food insecurity reaching record highs in Canada, amid affordability concerns, the school division says every dollar helps. Boulanger emphasized the work to make sure that this program lasts well beyond 3 years.
You know, there's nonverbal kids and all the other challenges that the staff and the educators in the school division have to grapple with. This is just one less problem that we wanted to assist in this regard.
Starting in 2029, this program will receive permanent funding from the federal government. A new initiative at the Jim Pattison Children's Hospital hopes to prioritize patient choice, nutrition, and healing. Ready, Set, Eat is a program where meals are prepared to meet seasonal and cultural food preferences, delivered to patients when they're ready to eat rather than at fixed times. The program is funded by more than $554,000 from the Jim Pattison Children's Hospital Foundation in partnership with the Thistledown Foundation. The SHA says this program will support patient nutrition, comfort, and recovery.
We know that patients who eat less than half of their meals are at greater risk of malnutrition, which can delay healing and extend their hospital stay. Good food delivered at the right time is part of good care. This program reflects the Saskatchewan Health Authority's vision of healthy people, healthy Saskatchewan.
Will says the program officially started in October. Big Friday, Jeff. I know everybody's worried about the weather down in Regina for the game tomorrow, but let's talk about what's happening in the center and north of the province.
We can tell you the center and north of the province are still going to be dealing with some milder than seasonal temperatures. We've been promising the warmer temperatures all week long, and that's what's coming through for us. Now, of course, you mentioned Regina. I'll tell you that it's going to be about 7 degrees and sunny skies, and I don't think wind is going to be an issue, so pretty good conditions for the Vanier Cup. Nothing like the ice bowl that Saskatoon hosted many years ago. But you can certainly see some active weather sliding through the province, impacting mostly northern areas, but some of it's, coming close to Saskatoon and Prince Albert and those areas and the Battleford. So we'll talk more about the numbers later on.
A Regina police officer charged with breach of trust and unauthorized use of a computer has pleaded guilty. Sergeant Robert Semenchuk was charged back in March. He was accused of using an internal database to pursue what police called personal and intimate relationships. Semenchuk was suspended with pay when the allegations were brought forward in 2023. Today, Semenchuk entered a guilty plea to both charges. He'll be back in court for sentencing in January. Potash producer BHP has a new headquarters in downtown Saskatoon. The mining company has recently expanded as it grows operations in Saskatchewan. The organization's new home on 4th Avenue will serve as mission control for the Jansen Potash project, which is expected to become one of the world's largest potash mines. BHP explains the reason for choosing its new home.
And we decided to stay in the heart of Saskatoon. We want to be part of the fabric, part of the society here. And so this building was being developed, and we said, well, this could be a unique opportunity to do two things: bring the best of BHP, bring sort of the look and feel of our other offices globally, but also incorporate local elements and give it sort of the prairie sauce and build our new home here.
The Jansen Potash project is expected to go online in mid-2027. The provincial government is offering tax incentives to grow the food, beverage, and equipment manufacturing sector. It will apply to small businesses that have between 5 and 50 employees. Investors will receive 45% of their money back in the form of a tax credit along with ownership shares. It will allow for company expansion in areas such as craft brewing.
We're very excited about the small to medium enterprise investment tax credit program. We intend to use it, we intend to raise money, and we intend to grow. And I think what it does is it unlocks a key barrier in the scale journey of a business, that being fueling working capital and market presence. So we're very excited.
Eligible businesses can raise up to $4 million under the incentive program. A game about a funeral may not sound like a party, but one Saskatoon man is proving otherwise. As Stacey Hine reports, a pandemic idea years in the making has finally hit the market.
I was born without a blank, but I had an extra blank.
It's a pandemic idea that's now come to life. The party game Eulogy promises to put the fun in funerals.
It puts you and your party at a funeral, and the game's going to help you create the character that you're there to mourn the loss of.
Players pick a character card, name it, and follow that character through 6 stages of life using fill-in-the-blank prompts. Then at the end, one player delivers a 3-minute eulogy. Last fall, game creator Sean Barassa produced 30 prototypes and even bought a hearse to help market it. Recently, the first shipment of 1,500 games arrived, just as Barassa became a father to twins.
Yeah, it was kind of like the worst timing. It was our twins had just been born, and they were in NICU for two weeks, and then we had just gotten home. And then I got an email saying, your games are about to arrive.
He says the chaos is worth it because he believes in the game's potential.
I have the most confidence in the game. I have less confidence in my ability to take it there, but the game itself I have like the most confidence in.
He estimates he and his wife have played the game about 1,000 times, and he's already thinking about a spin-off.
The title's called Till Death, and we're just going to create a wedding couple the exact same way.
Barassa is trying to get Eulogy on store shelves. But for now, it can be ordered on his website, eulogyboardgames.com. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Back in 1991, Canada joined a UN treaty that defines and protects the rights of children. Today, several groups in Yorkton came together to honor those rights, celebrating National Child Day. Virginia DeClute has more.
34 years ago, Canada joined the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, a commitment to ensure that all children are treated with dignity and respect.
It's all about the different rights of the child around non-discrimination and providing safe space and the right to join groups and to be part of and to know their responsibility as a child.
To celebrate National Child Day, organizations in Yorkton are organizing a fun but important event.
So for example, we have Big Brothers Big Sisters, we have Shawan House, we have the fire department, we have Yorkton Indigenous Friendship Centre, and many others.
At each station, 5th graders have 6 minutes to learn about their rights and responsibilities.
There's some that are really interactive where they're playing a game, tossing a ball back and forth. There's others where they get to draw, where they get to make some beading, where they get to do different activities, and others that are for those that are more an auditory learner.
Over 200 students from 7 elementary schools are taking part.
They come with their own unique gifts and being able to feel that they have every right with their language and their culture and whatever background that they come from, that they have those equal rights.
This is the 30th National Child Day celebration in Yorkton, teaching generations of children.
Children's free to do what they want and be able to learn about other people's nationalities and other things and make new friends.
You should always be kind no matter where you are and to always know that you're loved and respected.
Amplifying even the smallest of voices in an effort to make a big difference. Virginia DeClute, CTV News, Yorkton.
When we come back, the newest chancellor of the University of Regina. Mick Favel has the story of the alum who's come back to his alma mater.
Greetings, everyone. Over the years, Cadmus Delorme has worn many hats: chief, entrepreneur, and now chancellor of his alma mater. With a new position, he plans to continue pushing the importance of education and championing reconciliation. We caught up with him at the University of Regina's 2025 Fall Convocation, where he performed his ceremonial duties for the first time. An historic moment for the University of Regina. Former chief of Cowessess First Nation and local businessman Cadmus Delorme being installed as the chancellor of the university. He's the first Indigenous person to hold the role. Delorme reflects on the treaty signings, the talks of education for future generations, making this moment possible.
This is what our ancestors wanted us to do. They wanted us to succeed and be Indigenous on our land, and also succeed in the Canadian perspective as well. Learn to walk in both worlds. You don't have to compete. They coexist. And I'm a prime example of what reconciliation is.
There have been 9 other chancellors in the U of R's history. The chancellor is responsible for the academic welfare of the institution, is a member of the Board of Governors, as well as a representative of the university. Leadership are excited to have Delorme on board and the impact he will have in the university and beyond.
His leadership will be transformational as chancellor, and he's going to have an impact on the entire community, faculty, staff, and I'll say students as well in a great way. It's a really exciting time, and I would say it's a new beginning in terms of what he will bring to that office.
Delorme has been a part of the U of R in some capacity for many years, first becoming a student in 2008, earning 2 degrees, and eventually holding the chair of the Board of Governors for the university.
He's a role model for younger youth and you know, for things to aspire to, especially for Indigenous peoples in this province. It's a testament to where we are, you know, not only as a province, but where we're moving towards, and I think that's something positive.
The University of Regina recently celebrated its 50th anniversary. Delorme is looking forward to serving the place that taught him so much about himself and plans to do so for years to come.
I wear this with pride for all the alumni of the First Nations University of Canada and the Saskatchewan Indian Federated College and the elders that prayed for that institution. And to be a part of the University of Regina and the bigger family, I'm here for all the 95,000 alumni.
If you have a story you would like to see in this segment, here's how to reach us. You can contact me by email, and you can also watch past episodes and segments of Indigenous Circle on our CTV Regina and CTV Saskatoon websites.
Indigenous Circle, brought to you in part by Saskatchewan Indigenous Enterprise Foundation, growing the First Nation entrepreneurial spirit.
Jeff's got a look at your weekend weather coming right up, plus overdose concerns in Saskatchewan's 2 largest cities. All right, Jeff, can you believe it? It's game day weather in Prince Albert. What kind of weather do those fans have going for them?
You know, tonight's not going to be too bad. Tomorrow will be warmer, but this evening, the tricky part is you're going to have to be careful on the roads because some periods of freezing rain are coming through the area while we eventually get into some sunnier skies tomorrow. But so for this evening, if you're heading out to a hockey game, please be careful on the roads. It might be a bit on the slippery side. And this is the reason this system is sliding through from Alberta into Saskatchewan. And as I mentioned off the top of the broadcast, it is impacting the Battleford, Saskatoon, and the Prince Albert region. It's just a question of how much of this freezing rain we might actually see in any of these locations, but we'll keep our eye on that. Out on Canada's west coast, not a bad day today, but waves of moisture are making their way to the west coast, and we are dealing with over 100 millimeters of rain for some parts of Vancouver Island. The lower mainland might see over 75 to 100 millimeters of rain, so it's going to be a bit soggy. It's not going to be constant, but it will come in waves and it'll add up to something significant. So that's something to keep in mind if your travels are taking you out that way. And in Ontario, basically things quieting down, but another low is going to come through, so there are going to be some dicier situations out there. And on Canada's east coast, it looks like Cape Breton and Newfoundland might get hit with a bit of a storm today until something shows up later in the weekend for other parts of the Maritimes or Atlantic Canada. As you can see on the Futurecast, there's that snow system sliding through the north, making its way out of Saskatchewan in the early morning hours and into into Manitoba, and doesn't look like it's going to be particularly windy. -4 degrees for Spirit Wood tonight, -3 for the Battlefords, -5 in Candle Lake, -4 in Birch Hills. Rostern cooling off to -6 tonight, and we're expecting overnight temperatures of -3 in both Nipawin and in Melfort. So for Saturday, well, look at this. A pretty consistent temperature pattern and pretty much the same sky conditions throughout the region. 4 degrees in the Battlefords with a bit more cloud than everywhere else. We've got Spirit Wood with mainly sunny skies and 3. That's the same for Candle Lake, Birch Hills, Rostern, and Melfort, and Nipawin. So 3 degrees. So if you bet on the number 3, you're a winner. All right. As we take a look at Prince Albert and area, -5 degrees overnight. Periods of freezing rain. As I mentioned, that should wrap up, I would say, probably around, I'm going to say 9 o'clock or thereabouts. The winds shift around a little bit, and then as we roll into tomorrow, we've got ourselves mainly sunny skies, 3 degrees, winds out of the west at 15, and here is the 7-day forecast. 1 degree on Sunday, Monday, chance of some flurries. It may be substantive, maybe 5 to 10 centimeters of snow. -3 degrees on Tuesday, and then temperatures just keep on dropping as we head into the next week or so. Yes, below seasonal temperatures will be certainly in evidence as we make our way into the next couple of weeks and get ourselves into December.
And you've probably been just waiting to finally say that, eh? Below seasonal.
Yeah, that's what I've been waiting to say. That's definitely on my fun things to do.
There you go. Well, it's been so long. It's almost been 3 weeks, actually, Jeff. The Prince Albert Raiders return to action tonight at the Art Hauser Center. Their first game back after a successful U.S. road swing sees the Brandon Wheat Kings now come to town. Including their game in Lethbridge, the Raiders went 5-1-1 on the trip, finishing with an overtime loss to the Wenatchee Wild. The Raiders now have given up the fewest goals in the WHL with 51, while the Wheat Kings offense has scored the second most goals with 102. Prince Albert sits at number 2 in the CHL Top 10 weekly rankings. Puck drop is at 7 o'clock from Art Hauser Center. Following tonight's game, the Raiders will head back out on the road. They'll go to Brandon for next Friday. Tomorrow is the big game, the 60th Vanier Cup between the University of Saskatchewan Huskies and the University of Montreal. The Huskies are hoping a homegrown quarterback will lead them to their first Vanier Cup championship since 1998. Redshirt sophomore Jake Farrell was born and raised in Saskatoon. He'll start for the Huskies tomorrow. Farrell came in for from the backup position in Week 5 when Anton Ammanrud left the lineup. It was later revealed he had been diagnosed with cancer. The team says it's rallied around both Ammanrud and their new starter, Farrell.
Pretty crazy year, but I credit my teammates and my coaching staff. For all the help. I feel like they've done an unbelievable job, and I think just me leaning on my guys and leaning on the coaching staff and the game plan each and every week, and I feel like it's made the transition definitely easier.
This is the 12th Vanier Cup in team history, having won it 3 times in 1990, 1996, and 1998. Kickoff is 1 o'clock Saturday from Mosaic Stadium in Regina. Major League Baseball is returning to that special cornfield in Iowa next summer. The league announced a 3rd Field of Dream game for next August. The Philadelphia Phillies will face the Minnesota Twins. The first Field of Dreams game was in 2021 between the Chicago White Sox and New York Yankees. The site of the game is the same as the 1989 movie of the same name, starring Kevin Costner.
Do you have a community event you would like to promote? Or maybe you'd like to draw attention to your organization. Let your local CTV station help you spread the word. Contact us at 306-922-6020 or email panews@ctv.ca. You can appear on CTV Prince Albert's News at 5 and get your message to our viewers.
Alerts have been issued for Saskatchewan's 2 biggest cities, with health officials warning of potentially lethal drugs on the streets. They say they're behind a major spike in overdoses. Allison Bamford has the details.
We're sitting, as of the 18th, about 182 overdoses for the month. Saskatoon's fire department is sounding the alarm. In a single week, crews were called to 104 overdoses, 2 of them fatal, adding to an unprecedented year. So far, the department has responded to about 1,000 more than it did in all of 2024.
We're noticing a lot more naloxone-resistant overdoses.
Naloxone reverses opioid overdoses, but can't counter the effects of other substances. Prairie Harm Reduction tests samples of street drugs and puts out their own warnings when toxic supply is in circulation. They say more and more sedatives are being added to opioids.
A few years ago, it would have just been the fentanyl mixed in with other things, and now, you know, it's fentanyl plus this and plus that, and it's always just like a different mixture of stuff.
Lethal mixtures making it even harder to control.
It seems to be getting progressively worse.
This week, the province's health ministry issued drug alerts in Saskatchewan's 2 biggest cities, Saskatoon and Regina, both experiencing a spike in overdoses that in many cases required multiple doses of naloxone. At times, CPR and other life-saving measures were needed too.
So it does add quite a bit more complexity to our day-to-day operations, a lot more pressure on our staff.
And that pressure takes its toll on the department as well. The deputy chief says they're focusing on the mental health of their members, support that will continue as long as the drug crisis does. Allison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Brought to you by Saskatchewan Union of Nurses. Thank you to Saskatchewan's 11,000 registered nurses.
All right, Jeff, I hope you've had your tetanus shot recently because a jaw-dropping adrenaline-inducing event is on its way to Saskatoon. Nitro Circus Off the Rails World Tour is coming to Saskatoon next month. The event features world-class daredevils at the top of their game in freestyle, motocross, BMX, skate, and scooter. You can check it out on December 21st at SaskTel Center. Jeff, if you had to choose, is there one extreme sport that's right up your alley?
You mean like this?
Yeah, which one would you be a star?
Okay, I'll take that. I'll be chair racing.
The couch ride. The
couch ride, yeah. I'll definitely take my chances there. But anything that requires balance, forget about it.
There you go. Having played hockey, it was always, you had rollerblades, but you didn't want to do the trick rollerblading. So I kind of was in between two worlds. And honestly, I learned you get hurt more doing that than you do on the ice.
I've had a bad experience with rollerblades.
There you go. So that's going to do it for us. CTV National News is up next.